2, 1, and yeah, welcome everybody. Glad you're here, all of us, all of you who are joining us by live stream. We're delighted to have you here. We have special guest musicians today, and I'm going to invite them up. Yam and Jesse are, you know them. They are the creators of a podcast called Bliss is Ordinary, and they use song and music to reach that state, and they're going to invite you into that.
Good morning. Thanks
Good morning,
so much
everybody.
for having us. We love being here. I think maybe you could give a little wiggle if we have sung together before here or somewhere else. Yeah, so good. Wonderful. We're going to share new songs. So these are songs that most of us probably haven't sung together. They're songs from Yam and I or from communities of folks that we sing with.
Yeah, and starting next Sunday night, we're going to be offering a chance to help each other get in touch with our own voices outside of this service. So on Sunday night, we're going to be sharing songs. And this first song we're going to share, it would make a lot of sense in a circle, but we're going to try it in this room. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So when we share songs, we teach them usually. But for Sunday service today, we're not going to teach too many, except for this one. We're going to go through each of the 3 parts once a little slowly so we can feel the rhythm together, and then we'll sing it.
Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, the first part, as you see, here we go. And if you haven't had a chance to arrive, whatever parts you haven't yet arrived, maybe give yourself just a moment to loosen up your jaws. Just we're about to enter the song realm. Okay.
So we'll do echo style?
Yeah, echo style. I'll do a part, then you guys can echo it back if you'd like. Love is just what is.
Love is just what is.
It cannot be given or taken away.
It cannot be given or taken away.
Okay, so I'm going to put those parts together. Love
nice.
is just what is. It cannot be given or taken away.
Sounds like we got that
That's
part.
great. Love is just what is. It cannot be given or taken away.
Try
Okay,
the
the next
second
part. If you like to sing in a lower range, this is a good part for you.
It's kind of like a waterfall, this one.
Okay. Now I'm going to do the second part here. Love, the love that is. Try that. Love, the love that is. Very good. Includes everything. Includes everything.
Ooh. Includes
Everything.
Includes everything.
Love, the love that is, includes everything, includes everything.
Ooh,
Very
nice.
good, very good. And these parts actually all stack on top of each other. So we're gonna do the third part, and then we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, this part's a bit like a cascading waterfall. When I get out of my own way, I can see love so clearly.
Okay, let's try.
When I get out of my own way, I can see love so clearly.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Next part. When I get out of my own way, I can see love.
What's that first note?
When I get out of my own way, I can see love.
All together?
When I get out of my own way, I can see love so clearly. When I get out of my own way, I can see love.
All right, we got it.
Love. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Let's roll it out. Love is just what is. It cannot be given or taken away. Very good. Oh, love is just what is. It cannot be given or taken away. Whoever wants to, just keep singing that part. Try that again. Love is just what is. Includes everything.
Or taken away.
Includes everything. Love is just what is. Includes everything.
Or taken away.
Includes everything.
When I get out of my
It's
own
just
way,
what
I can
is.
see love so
Cannot
clearly.
be
When
given.
I get out of my own way,
Taken away.
I can see love.
I got an idea. Wait a minute.
Oh.
I got an idea. What if we broke this room into sections to try and do the parts? Do we have enough time for that? Can we try
I don't
it?
know.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
we'll do
so let's see. This section here. Could you do the first part?
Love.
Love. Yeah, go for it. It's just what is. Very good.
Yes.
It cannot be given. Okay, who's gonna do part two?
And the more robust you do that,
Get
yeah, and I
away.
can support the other sides too. Yeah.
Okay, now this part over here, you guys are going to be part two. You're going to be the love is just what.
You do it that
yeah,
with
okay,
them.
Okay. Like I said, in a circle, this makes a lot of sense.
And we'll try the waterfall.
Can you guys handle the waterfall
When
part?
I get out of my, we can do it.
Okay. So here we go. Section
all
1,
play.
part 1, part 2, part 3. Let's see what happens. Okay. Part 1, I need you. Here we go. Love
Yes.
is just what is. It cannot be given or taken away. Oh, love. Part 2 is just what is. Includes everything.
Or taken away. Okay, let's try.
Includes everything.
When
Love.
I get out of my
The
own
love
way,
that is.
I can see love so clearly.
Includes everything.
When I get out of my own way,
Includes
I can see love.
everything.
When I get
It's
out
working.
of my own way,
That
I can see
is.
love so
Includes
clearly.
everything.
When I get out of my own way, I
Includes
can see love.
everything. Love.
get out of my
Just
own
what
I can see
is.
love so
It cannot be
clearly.
given.
When I get out of my own way,
Taken
I
away.
can see love.
Oh,
When I
love.
get out of my own way,
Love that
I can
is.
see love so
It cannot be
clearly. When I
given.
get out of my own way,
Taken away.
I can see
Okay, now just for
love.
one time through, just try like 60% singing, 40% listening. Let's listen to each other. That's the best part of this.
We're
Okay.
getting it though.
You guys are getting it. This is sounding great. Okay. From the top, part 1, part 2, part 3. Love
Oh, just this
is
one?
just what is. It cannot be given or taken
away.
Oh, love.
I get out of my own way, I can see love so clearly. When I get out of my own way, I can see love.
Oh,
When I
love.
get out of my own way,
Love that
I can see
is.
love so clearly.
Includes
When
everything.
I get out of my own way, I can
Includes
see love.
everything.
When I
Love.
get out of my own way,
Just what
I can
is.
see love so
Cannot be
clearly. When
given.
I get out of my own way,
Taken away. Just the
can
third
see
part together.
love. Oh,
When I get out of my own way, I can see love so clearly. When I get out of my own way, I can see love. Oh, when I get out of my own way, I can see love so clearly. When I get out of my own way, I can see love.
wow, nice job.
Great work, guys.
Is that what's next?
And thanks for doing that little experiment with us. That was sounding really nice. Courage.
So if this is where the children are going to be? Oh, yeah, great. Perfect. Okay, this is a song by our friend and a song catcher named Ale Blakely. It's pretty simple. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the feeling of this fear. Being afraid and standing up anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the feeling of this fear. Being afraid and standing up anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the feeling of this fear. Being afraid and standing up anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the feeling of this fear. Being afraid and standing up anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the feeling of this fear. Being afraid and standing up anyway. One more time. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the feeling of this fear. Being afraid and standing up anyway.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. So welcome to the Center of Spiritual Living, Bellingham. I'm Joanne, and I'm your practitioner for the day, along with Susan Jancic. And so I invite you to join me in prayer. As I pause and go inward, I invite you to take a nice deep breath and settle into your seats. And as I do this, as I pause and go in, I know that I am connected to the one that operates through all things, that is here, operating through me and through you at all times. And so I go to that place, the heart realm, where I know that love exists and stays. And it is the seat of love in the heart realm. And I visit that now and many times. And I allow this feeling, this deep love that goes beyond the romantic, beyond the family, beyond the friends, into that unconditional love, that space, that feeling, that energy that reaches out to all. And today I am aware of that love. I hold that, and I allow it to express through me in even bigger ways as we all join together today as part of a community that's based in love, connection, and friendship and support for one another. So I invite you to join with me in spiritual practice this morning as we take our next best step or our next best leap, whatever it might be. And so it is.
So it is. I move in in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. Everyone is a gift from the gracious teacher that is teaching inside me. Everyone is a gift from the gracious teacher that is teaching inside me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. Everyone is a gift from the gracious teacher that is teaching inside me. Everyone is a gift from the gracious teacher that is teaching inside me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. Everyone is a gift from the gracious teacher that is teaching inside me. Everyone is a gift from the gracious teacher that is teaching inside me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. That part again. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. I move in creative response to every obstacle that comes before me. To every obstacle that comes before me. To every obstacle that comes before me.
Thank you so much. Okay, grounded now. I love singing. I'm so glad they're here. So the monthly theme is open to possibilities, and they couldn't have picked a better song to move into this talk. I move with creative response to every obstacle before me, because I wanted to talk a little bit about what it takes to allow the divine, which in the science of mind teaching we believe is resident within everything, but also specifically resident within all of us as well. I say that because sometimes, it's easy to say, well, yeah, the divine is in everything, and we kind of leave ourselves out. It's out there, but it's also in here. And part of the spiritual journey is journeying inward to find that place and then move with it and allow it to move us. So evolution is actually its nature. It just can't sit still. It's forever and ever unfolding its nature. And basically, the way I think of it, I don't know if this would be like strictly science of mind, but I think of it like this, that, we're being used by something that's much vaster, much wiser, much more filled with love than the personality self that we've created up until now. And it's constantly seeking to bring its nature out more fully through each of us. And so what happens is we actually do hit obstacles. We come to a place where the personality self has created a structure, and typically that self has created structures out of a need for comfort, my favorite thing, right? Almost all human beings want comfort, and also safety. Because many of us were raised to believe that the world was not safe. Some of us were in unsafe environments as we were raised. Some of us are very deeply impacted by that. And so the structures we put in place in the personality are designed to make sure that we're safe and comfortable. That's a barrier, believe it or not. At a certain level of evolution, spirit's not having that. It's like, well, that's not why I have come through you, is to be safe and comfortable. I have come to be the greatest expression of what is through each of us and through all that is. And so it will push, and it will feel like there's a barrier sometimes, or that we're being asked to do things that are unimaginable, which is why the title of this talk is called Take the Leap. Because at some point, giving house room, opening those structures to the divine and allowing ourselves to be evolved by means of that energy actually takes us to a place where we are even more of who we've come here to be, and it becomes more and more comfortable, more and more roomy, spacious. Roomy, not the poet, but roomy. And so I was thinking about that, and about how it is that there's this place, and how as spiritual travelers we can work with the place instead of resisting it or feeling blocked in some way by our own structures. And so I thought of a couple things. Most of us would have, who are listening, would have what Gay Hendricks calls an upper limit problem. And what that means is that for many of us, we're extremely fortunate to have lives that we have created that have a degree of comfort and have a degree of safety. And we like it there, and we become excellent at that. And so that's called the zone of excellence. And we like being there because who we are in that zone is the best that we've discovered of ourselves so far. And we give our gifts, and we interact from this zone of excellence. We are used to being good at how we are in that zone. Maybe not perfect. There are certain areas that maybe safety and comfort restrict a bit. But in that zone, we have reached a level of feeling like, okay, I got this. I'm doing this great. And everybody else likes it that we're there too. And so one of the barriers is this upper limit problem that we have, which is like, okay, but the imagination, the energy of the divine that's seeking to evolve us is basically giving us lots and lots of opportunity to think about something bigger. And I was thinking about this because I was recently at Disneyland with my grandchildren. And the first time I went to Disneyland, I was 7. It had just opened. And there was in Frontierland a shooting gallery. And it was one of these things where there was these pop-up things where they would pop up and go across and then duck down unless you shot them. And so I was thinking about spirit like this, believe it or not. Metaphor is my friend. So I was thinking about how, an idea will pop up. And it's an idea that will evolve us in some way. And it pops up and it starts traveling across our consciousness. And the part of us that has an upper limit problem, missed, keeps going. Missed, keeps going. And it's like, I got to shoot this thing down, otherwise I might have to change. And it's really risky. And this idea, what am I going to do with it? And I don't know how to do that. And so it disappears for a while. But like that Disneyland thing, it's not going to go away. It's going to pop up again and travel across consciousness. And each time it does that, we have the opportunity to say, maybe I should explore that more. Maybe I should take the leap and just let it sort of speak to me. Let it open the windows of my mind and heart a little bit to see what it's asking of me. And when we do that, incredible things start to happen. They're not comfortable, but they're incredible. And so I wanted to talk about that place, that sort of liminal space where we've opened the door a little bit to an idea or a divine expression that keeps coming our way. Because I've found that there are a couple things to pay attention to that will make it more comfortable, because we're comfort-loving beings, and also will open us more to the possibility that we're actually being asked to go to the next level of who we have come here to be. So, the first thing I notice is that the same mechanisms physiologically that create fear in us create excitement. And the only difference between the two is breath. You may have noticed. When I was younger, I decided that the way to overcome my fear of heights was to skydive. It was not my sport, it turned out, nor did it work, but I did it, and I was terrified. And what I realized is I was so terrified that I was not breathing. So as we leaped out of the plane, my tandem skydiving instructor and me, and were falling before the chute opened, I was not breathing. And there was a camera person traveling at the same rate as us, taking pictures of me. And I thought to myself, at some point, I took a breath and I went, well, if I'm going to die, I want to die smiling. So I just started smiling all the way down. So there's this difference between fear and excitement, but it's not different mechanically inside of us. We can work with it by breathing. So the next time your imagination or your dreams start rising up, coming up, and traveling across your mind and heart, do this with me. Take a deep breath, and then let it out. And a lot of times, the fear will modify itself into excitement, which is where we want to be with these new ideas and this new suggestion for how we could evolve ourselves. So that's the first thing. And then what I began to notice is one way to allow the crossing into a new level of expression to happen is to pay attention to a couple of things. And one is what's called flow. And not Ruth's flow. That's her name for God, flow, F-L-O, but F-L-O-W. And flow you have experienced. And I want you to try to think of a time, but I'll tell you mine and a couple other people so you get what I'm talking about. So I have been late for a lunch date with Francine Kitchen twice now. Turns out that the reason I was late is because I was writing. And I was writing the minister's message. And I was like deeply in this creative expression of trying to put words to feelings and understandings, and I lost track of time completely. I was just in it, and it was creative, and time had stood still, and I was in the flow. I had to apologize for Francine, and decided that I better not make a lunch date with her on the day I was writing ever again. But so writing for me is a place sometimes where I just go into this other no time, no space place, and that's flow. And it's the equivalent of adult play. Why? Because it's effortless, it's energizing, it's like this incredible place of openness. And the other place that I often go into flow is, many of you know I love to cook, and I love trying new recipes, and I love just the sheer creation of anything, basically, when I'm cooking. And it doesn't happen every time, because sometimes I'm too rushed, or I don't have the right ingredients, or whatever, and I don't go into flow. But when I do, you can feel it in my kitchen. You can feel the energy of this spaciousness happening. And when people walk in, it's like delight, because we all have that place, all of us. All of us. And so what's yours? Where do you feel that? For some people, it's being outside, or doing a sport, or creating something. Whatever it is, it's important to begin to take note of the times when you are in flow, when I am in flow. When we flow, we have just juiced up the ability to cross over from the zone of excellence into the zone of being. And it's a different place. And so I have some folks I think I've been telling you about, Bill Barnett and Dale, I think his last name is Roberts, and they are Stanford life designers, and they talk about keeping a daily feel-good journal. And part of what they recommend people to do for 3 weeks, which I've been doing, is at the end of the day, noticing the places where flow happened and writing that down. The other thing that they recommend, which is my second thing to tell you about, which we experienced here this morning a bit. You might have experienced flow, although some people have structures about singing, and it's not so good. But for those of us who could open to what Jesse and Yam were offering, there was flow, but there's also energy. Did you notice it? Like the energy in the room shifted up into this other place. And it was partly because we were all doing something together, which is very powerful. But energy is the other thing to put down in the feel-good journal. At the end of the day, noticing the places that really energize us and the places that don't. But mostly focusing on what does, because the information we need to gather in order to step out of our zone of excellence into the zone of becoming, beingness, is how we actually feel good. Now, why is that? Why would that work? Doesn't that sound sort of whooshy and woo-y? Is that a word? Did I just make that up? You may have noticed that it really doesn't work to pay attention to what doesn't work. Like if you think about the last mistake you made, and we all make them, and you're doing it from the zone of excellence, chances are good that the energy level that you're feeling goes down. Maybe not a lot, because you've done a lot of work with yourself, and you've been coming here for a while, and you know it's a perfection-free zone, but a little bit. When we focus on flow and energy and noticing the places where those show up for us, we can then begin to orient our life more and more to those places. In other words, building in time where we raise our energy, building in time when flow happens. And when we do that, that opens the door to moving with the ideas and the dreams and the inspirations that are coming our way. Instead of shooting them down, we have the energy and the openness to listen and to move with them. Does it mean it won't be scary? No, it is scary. You know, we get to the edge of the green growth of our own being, and fear is going to be a companion, because fear is kind of our way of talking about or feeling safety and comfort. And it's going to try to help you stay where you are. But that's not what we're built for. It's to stay where we are. We're built to be the vehicle for expression of our highest and greatest gifts. And we can't do that by staying the same and the same and the same. In fact, I had an experience recently with a relative of mine. For years and years, this relative, maybe you have one like this, her name was Aunt Wheeze. She's passed away. Her actual name was Louise, but we called her Wheeze for a reason. And Aunt Wheeze had built a life of blame and complaining. This was her way. And she was one of the most cranky, crabby, restricted, horrifyingly tight people that I was around. And I watched as she got older, and it just got more and more and more like that. More and more restricted, more and more de-energized, more and more grumpy, crabby, complaining, blaming, everything, to the very end. And it was super hard for any of us to go visit her, because there was no question that we were going to hear a litany of this kind of thing. And what I've heard said about complaining and blame, not that any of you do that, but just in case it should show up, because I can from time to time get a little cranky myself. Probably got it from her. What I've realized is complaining and blaming can become an addiction. And it's a very, very costly addiction, because it robs us of flow, and it robs us of energy. And it makes our world smaller and smaller and more tight and more insulated from this incredible thing that wants to express by means of us. So I realized the last few years of her life that I was not going to go see her. She lived in Toledo, Ohio, and I was here on the West Coast, so there was that. But I just couldn't bear it anymore. And so I would call, and I would literally do this. I'd put the phone on speaker, and I'd get as far away where I could still hear, and I would feel my body kind of hunch up, and I would have comfort things around me, a blanket, a hot cup of tea, a solitaire game on my little laptop, anything, so that I could be with her, but not. So when she passed away, it was like a really big deal for all of us, because we, as cousins, talked about how none of us wanted to be like that and what we could do. And so I bring that to you because we want to pay attention to the energy. We want to pay attention to the places where we throw ourselves. And we don't want to be Aunt Wheeze. We want to be liberated, open, spacious, the ability to respond to creative ideas, to work creatively with the obstacles and structures that we put in place to allow the divine to actually divine us, if you will, making up words here. And if flow and energy are really grown-up play, how wonderful to give ourselves more and more and more to that, so that we don't have an upper limit problem. The sky's the limit. Evolution is our way. And we walk with excitement, and every once in a while fear. But we recognize that when we feel fear, we do what? Take a breath. So join me in prayer for that, in case you're ready. we take a breath. And as we let it out, so grateful for the awareness of wisdom and love ever and always supporting us, seeking to find expression. I know for myself, and I know for you, that this wisdom and love have incredible energy and are inviting each one of us to play. So I open the door to the zone of becoming. Grateful for the zone of excellence in the things that I've learned to do well, and open at the top to allow new inspiration, new dreaming, new imaginations to play in mind and heart and direct me to areas where I am even more energized, even more in the flow of life, even more open to the guidance that is always at hand. As I open my mind and heart to this, there is no question in my mind that great things are then beginning to now unfold. So I strap in. I breathe deeply. I allow the excitement of newness to be my way as I step forward into those dreams, taking the leap into the life that the divine is shaping in me, through me, and as me. So grateful for the opportunity to be a sacred human doing this magnificent work. And so it is. Thank you. That was fun. All right, I'm going to invite the ushers to come forward. Thank you ahead of time for any financial gifts that you might offer the center. It allows us to do things like invite Yam and Jesse to come and be special guests. And they're going to sing while we're doing the money. And maybe you're going to sing with them. I don't know. You can.
You always can. It's a simple prayer from a local songstress, Katie Robbins' song. How can I show kindness to my own self, to my own heart? How can I show kindness to my own self, to my own heart? That again. How can I show kindness to my own self, to my own heart? How can I show kindness to my own self, to my own heart? Stay present, stay present, stay with it. Mm-hmm. Stay present, stay present, stay with it. Mm-hmm. How can I show kindness to my own self, to my own heart? How can I show kindness to my own self, to my own heart? Stay present, stay present, stay with it. Mm-hmm. 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 One more time for the beginning. How can I show kindness to my own self, to my own heart? How can I show kindness to my own self,
to my own heart.
Stay present, stay present, stay with it. Stay present, stay present, stay with it. Stay present, stay present, oh, stay with it. Stay present, stay present, stay with it.
Thank you. So let me tell you a little bit about what's happening, and I think Philip actually created slides here. So tomorrow, which is President's Day, so I don't know who's off and who's not, but we're doing a community cooking event from 2:30 to 4:30 here in the sanctuary. This is to benefit Bridges to Services, who takes hot food out to the unhoused who are not in camps. They're out by themselves. And it's an outreach effort that hopes to hook these folks up with services by gaining their trust and sitting, having a hot meal together. Tomorrow we're making twice baked potatoes. And so it'll stay nice and hot. If you can help, we have 2 things on our list of ingredients that still need to come. And if you can't, I'll go ahead and do those. We are asking people to bring pre-baked potatoes so that they're already baked once, and then we can scoop all that stuff out, mix it up with all kinds of yummy stuff, stuff it back in and bake them again. So if you can bring 10 pre-baked potatoes, we need 20 total, and there's a sign-up list at our Ask Me desk. And I think we have enough cooks, but if you'd like to come, it's quite a merry endeavor. And so we'll be here at 2:30. Today, after the service at noon, we have to take a little bit of time to set up. We're having women's group, and we have quite a bit of setup for this particular one because it has to do with opening to possibilities. But if you would like to come, it's an open women's circle, and anyone, whether you knew or have been coming all along, is welcome to come and be with us for that. So that's happening. The annual Women's Retreat has just a few openings left, and we'd love you to consider this. We are going to be going to Whidbey Institute, which is an incredibly magical, energized place. It is so incredibly supportive to the spirit of anyone who walks that land and spends time there. And so for many years, I've been holding a women's retreat the first or second week of August. This week, it's the second week. The spaces we have open are double occupancy and also some camping, which is considerably cheaper. We have a personal chef who is amazing and uses their half-acre garden to make much of what we eat, and also locally sourced on Whidbey Island. So if you would like to be a part of it, you need to sign up, and a deposit is required to hold your spot, and you can talk to the wonderful board members at the Ask Me desk in the back about that. Next week, my sweet husband Joe, who's on a vision quest right now, but he'll be here next week, he is offering for people to come and join a landscaping team interest meeting. Doesn't mean you have to commit, but he wants to talk about his dream for this place. And this includes not only our Victory Garden, where we've been growing organic vegetables for years, thanks to Carol Stegman, I see she's here, but also the grounds and taking care of the grounds and adding our own touches. So that's going to happen right after the service at 11:45 next Sunday. And we would love any of you gardeners or people that don't have the opportunity to garden because of where you live, but would love to help, to come to that meeting and just hear his ideas and see if they resonate. I want to invite Colleen McGilchrist up. She is, if you don't know Reverend Colleen, she is the woman responsible with her husband, Bob, for creating this place. Yeah. And her idea, her dream is she took the leap, and it was a big leap, to create this place, and she's offering something she'd like to tell you about.
Hello. So on Memorial Day weekend, this coming Sunday, it will be 40 years since I walked into a church that became Centers for Spiritual Living in Fresno, California. And it's so much nicer to be here than to be in Fresno, California. But it was a pretty a wonderful experience. And I walked in when I had been amazingly blessed with my career goals. I had exceeded them so far. And as far as money was concerned, I was in a fabulous place, living in a fabulous place out on the Kings River, and I was miserable. I was so unhappy. My personal life was a wreck, and my teenage sons and I were all going through puberty together. And I walked in there because two people who I had complained to said, "You need to go to this church because it is exactly what you're looking for." And it was. I have no idea what my wonderful minister said that first Sunday. I did spot, I think, the wonderful youth director right away, who already knew Dr. Andrea and was working with her on our international youth program. But it has changed my life, and it changed my life. Within 10 weeks, I was a new person, and people were actually saying to me, "What are you on?" You know? And what I was on was life as it's meant to be. And so I want to share that with you in a really free, fast, wonderful way. So I'm only going to take 1 hour of your time, starting on March 1st. And it's going to be from 6 to 7, and I'm going to be sharing the principles of this fabulous teaching that changed my life so dramatically. And I am a content, blessed person, and you are sitting in this room because I walked into that Sunday morning. And your potential, no matter how old you are, I feel like I'm just getting started. So I would love to have you come. And I'm going to be lurking around the Ask Me table with cards that will give you my email address. And all you have to do is send us an email, send me an email, which I will give to my fabulous husband, and he will contact you. And we'd love to have you. It's all Zoom. You can dress casually, as I did this morning. And you only have to dress from the waist up.
As long as you don't stand up.
And so I would love to spend that time with you for the four Wednesdays in March.
In March.
And then if we're having fun, we'll continue on once a month.
Great. Thank you, Colleen. What an opportunity to learn from a master. And there they are, and here they are. And they told you a little bit about their community song circle. Do you want to say anything else about it?
Yeah, so next Sunday at 5:30, we're going to gather here and do a song circle, which is different than this. We'll be circled, first of all, and we'll teach the song. So kind of what we did with the first song, but we really take our time so that everybody gets a chance to really figure out the song for themselves, find where they can sing it. And then I pretty much guarantee we find flow state. That's really what happens when we get these circles going. So you really can feel the energy of singing with people. We love doing this. We've been doing it for years. We've done it all over the place, and we have hundreds of songs that have just come through us alone, let alone from other people. So we so invite you to come, even and especially if you're someone who is a little shy about singing. We'll talk about that in the song circle. So many people that we've sang with got really shut down when they were kids around their voices, which is such a weird thing that happens when kids get told not to sing or they can't sing. If that happened to you, it shouldn't have, and it can open back up again. So please join us.
And I want to emphasize too, it's really about helping each other find our voices together. So we call it, sharing the gift of everyday singing. It's a birthright. It's not about good or bad voices or being an opera singer. It's about making sound together and the cohesion that we create like that.
And the energy that comes from.
Yeah.
So we want to bring that. We
Flow
love this.
and energy.
Yeah, this community has been fostered such love for us over the years, and we're excited to kind of bloom it a little more outside of these sharings, you know? So
Right. It's by donation to support these wonderful folks. So $11 to $33, sort of a sliding scale, but no one's going to be turned away if you don't have the money, because you will when you find flow and energy. You really will. So I'm excited about it too. Tabor will be on hand just to make sure the mechanics of the room and everything are happening, and we hope that you'll come. We have just begun sign-ups for Sacred Circles. And what that is an in-person opportunity to have deep conversation about the spiritual ideas that are coming through the Sunday services. We just had 2 people drop out of the Fairhaven group, and so there's 2 spaces. They were closed. There's 2 spaces left for that group, and there's 4 left for the Tweety Tweed, Silver Beach, Hillsdale group. And this is an in-person, in a host's home opportunity to get together. It's a committed thing. So you meet once a month for a year, and you get to know people at a deep level. You talk about really cool ideas. You do spiritual practice together. It's such an opportunity that I really encourage you, if you're ready for this next part of really kind of launching into that, to sign up for that today at the Ask Me desk and be a part of these groups. They're run by just exquisitely wonderful people, very grounded in the teaching, and we'd love you to be a part of that. If you have questions, I see that Philip is here and Wanda. And would you guys raise your hands? Philip and Wanda are the Hillsdale group leaders, and they can answer questions about Sacred Circles in general if you have questions. Okay, let's see. Next. Well, the practitioners got together, and you may not have been here before COVID. But before COVID, the practitioners led us in a 15-minute meditation every Sunday morning. And it was special because we were together. Well, things have changed a little bit, you may have noticed. And so they really want to do this again. But they're going to be offering it in the classroom. And that means that you need to get here before 10 o'clock to go into the classroom and get settled. If you're one of those people, and I know who you are, who have your favorite spots, you can come early and put a coat on your chair before heading in before 10 to the classroom. Once it's 10 o'clock, they're going to close the doors to people entering so that the space can really generate the energy of spiritual practice. So you're invited. It starts on March 5th, so not next Sunday, but the one after that, and they'd love you to join them. And then once every 6 months, Zena and I do this. We invite people to find out what it would mean to actually become a member of the Center for Spiritual Living Bellingham. The thing is, you don't ever have to become a member. You can come forever, and that's great. But what members are, in brief, and then we go into it in detail, they're the ones that really step in. And so they give of their time by volunteering. They give of their energy by attending Sunday services when they can. They give of their support financially at the level they can. And they sort of step into that to make sure that this place continues. And it's been happening ever since Bob and Colleen brought us all here to this property, and will continue long after I'm gone. And so if you're interested in finding out more, mark your calendar, March 5th, after the service, we'll gather in here. You'll get to meet the leadership team, or at least a lot of them, and they'll introduce themselves so that you know who are the people that are kind of the 2 wings of the bird that keep us flying straight. Zena and I are the body, but we need those wings, otherwise we couldn't go anywhere at all. So you'll get to know all about that. And last but not least, I am so grateful for all the support you've given the Friends of the Family Resource Center. We had so much stuff come in the first 2 weeks of this drive that we actually had to take it to Zena and Patty's garage because it was filling the office up. We couldn't have glasses in there. And so we have this Sunday, and next Sunday is the last day of the drive. And what is this? These are the folks that support school children and their families who the teachers let us know are struggling. And so maybe they don't have a warm coat, maybe they don't have enough diapers, maybe they don't have the basic sanitary needs for their family. And there's a list that you'll find at the Ask Me desk of ingredients that we're looking for. In particular, we're looking for diapers, size 1 and 7. We're looking for full bottle shampoo and conditioner. We're looking for soap. We're looking for deodorant. We're looking for wool socks. And these things then go into a pantry, if you will, and the teachers inform the families who come and get to take off the shelves what it is that they need. So it's a wonderful organization to support, and I'm just so touched by how many people have brought in those things already. So if you have the ability, by all means, bring them in the next week, and we'll take them over and put them on the shelves. I think you've heard enough from me today, and the women's group has to set up. There's a lot of setup, so why don't we sing one more song with Jan and Jesse, and we'll go into our day.
I have unshackled myself. Once again, I know the voice of freedom. All these chains that were wrapped around me are broken once again. Grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Have a wonderful day. I have unshackled myself. Once again, I know the voice of freedom. All these chains that were wrapped around me are broken once again. Grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. I have unshackled myself. Once again, I know the taste of freedom. All these chains that were wrapped around me are broken once again. Grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Okay. Oh, you guys are still here. Great. All
We'll
right.
just keep singing.
I'll do it again. I have unshackled myself. Once again, I know the voice of freedom. All these chains that were wrapped around me are broken once again. Grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom.
One more time from the top.
We have unshackled ourselves. Once again, we know the voice of freedom. All these chains that were wrapped around us are broken once again. Cosmic grace, cosmic grace, inner freedom. Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom once again. Grace is here, cosmic grace, inner freedom
Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace,
inner freedom,
Once again, grace is here, cosmic grace,
inner freedom, inner freedom, inner freedom, inner freedom, inner freedom, inner freedom. Blessings.